Already for the 20th time, Bratislava has become the capital of world illustration, the meeting place for those who care for the fate of illustrated books for children. It was a record-breaking year too. 411 illustrators, 48 countries, almost 3,000 original illustrations. Illustrated books still open the doors to the paradise of knowledge and imagination. The golden apples have ripened again. This time they rolled off to Denmark, Poland, France, South Korea, and one of them stayed in Slovakia. The Grand Prix was awarded to Iran. Educating children, leading them to beauty is imperative. Organizing the Bratislava Biennial is terribly important. It is great advertisement for high-quality picture books for children. It is a perfect exhibition with huge significance for the world of children's books. But sometimes it is difficult here to distinguish between the individual artistic styles. The artists are becoming increasingly similar to each other.
The level was excellent, in fact, and I would say it is higher than last time, which is a pleasure to see, of course, that the quality goes up. Many countries have come back to the BIB, and I'm very happy about that, as I mentioned, and some have come for the first time. South Korea, for the first time in the history of the BIB, with 18 illustrators, and they won something this time. So it's wonderful. China has come back also, the USA, Canada, Turkey. There are quite a few countries and New Zealand was the first time ever.
I think the positive thing is that some years ago, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, you saw a lot of nationalism from the new countries, and I think this was necessary, that they had to build up an identity. But this year there is not so much about it, and for many years I was very sorrowful for the great nations like Poland and Russia, who produce so many beautiful artists, that they was influenced by the Walt Disney and Hollywood kind of illustration. And this year they had come back in full strength. I think it's a pity that there was no Russian among the winners, because they really deserved it. And there were so many great, also from Slovak and from the Czech Republic. But most of all, I guess I was impressed by the Russians, I believe, and the Iranians. They are really great.
Globalization is visible and on the rise. Finding publishers is very difficult. The publishers look for illustrators they can influence, and so the illustrators lose their identity. Some conform, others are not willing to. But understandably, it is those who accept the publisher's game that get their illustrations published. But fortunately, as we can see at this presentation, there are still many beautiful artistic books. But it is a very difficult process.
Just recently, I was judged the Society of Illustrators show in New York, which is the major American exhibition for children's book illustrators. And the level here is also at the highest level. I see work that is just innovative beyond what I saw. So I think it's very high level work. Absolutely wonderful. and beyond what I expected.
For the illustrated to show the many works for the public, and one other side for the public people, they can see the original illustrations. They feel something very special feeling from the originals. I think it's like an Olympic game. It's very important to join this exhibition.
Bratislava Biennial has been a phenomenon ever since its first year, and the importance of this phenomenon in this particular place in Europe has been proved and has impressed the whole world, and all of us have had to exert great effort to make it survive. And how did Slovak illustrators do in the strong international competition? They proved the strength of the Slovak school of illustration. New approaches, new names of young illustrators emerged. BIB is one of a few places to take refuge in. It is a place of beautiful things which take a lot of effort to create, but are either taken for granted or ignored. Something like an island, where one sees beautiful things and is led to believe that this is also one of the ways of how to live and look at the world. Professionals from different countries met at an international symposium to study illustrations in the work of Hans Christian Andersen. We mainly organize exhibitions of illustrators awarded at each biennial. These exhibitions then travel around the world. Only last month, there were more than 35 of them on 3 continents. We are in continuous cooperation with the organizers of individual participations and inform them on the standard of the previous biennial, so that they knew what to choose and what trends to continue to follow. Biennial. It is also a marathon of interesting events, and everyone talks with passion about illustrated books and how to improve the international prestige of BIB.
The BIB is great, so there's not much improvement, in fact, and as I said, I would like to see more developing countries, and therefore maybe more work with local IBBY committees in developing countries to bring those countries in, to make it truly international.
I don't think you need to do much new things here. This is traditional, but the tradition is okay. It is number one. I'm quite sure to say that. I've been here 10 times, as you know. And the very important thing about the BIB is that it is non-commercial. If you go to some of the other exhibitions, which are also okay, like in Bologna, you always feel that this is a commercial thing. There is some publishing behind the curtain and some interests that we do not find here. Here we go for, this is a kind of innocence about the BIB, which I love very much.
Без детской книги нет будущего.
There is no future without books for children. In our never-ending discussions, we talk about nothing else than what books to give to our kids. The world is very interested in this seemingly minor genre. But maybe this is what our whole future depends on. Because children must be educated with beauty and humanistic ideals.
воспитывать красотой, гуманитарными идеалами.
Prečo ten BIB vznikol? To bola rozdelená Európa.
Why was Bratislava Biennial started? It was in the times when Europe was divided by the Iron Curtain. Our illustrators and publishers couldn't see what was going on in the West, but the Western artists couldn't come here and see the work of our illustrators either. And so the idea was born, because we are not allowed to go to the world, let us invite the world to come here. And I believe that the Biennial has done a lot, not only in promoting children's books and illustrations, but in particular in advertising Bratislava and the whole of Slovakia. This is how the Biennial-of-Illustrations became popular in 100 countries on all 5 continents. The Biennial was thought up as an exhibition where anyone, not excluding the third world countries, would have the possibility to exhibit the works of their own choice. And this is extremely important. We, the organizers, must never usurp the exclusive right to choose the works for the exhibition. That happened in 1995, and the Biennial was a failure. UNESCO, IBBY, they all distanced themselves. Our Biennial is not about prizes. Prizes have a relative value. This event is all about the representative catalogue distributed to 100 countries around the world. The catalogue is read by publishers and visitors of fairs who can learn about new illustrators. I cannot imagine children not holding books in their hands. Young illustrators from the third world countries met at the UNESCO BIB workshop of Albin Brunovský. Supervised by Dušan Kalaj, they created the International Calligraphic Dictionary.
It's very useful, very helpful to have Professor Dušan Kalaj's advice and expert comments.
We have opportunity to go deep in yourself and in others' works and met people more close, and it's very great.
I'm very excited to have this chance to be here.
Being able to work together to see what the others do is very interesting. It's a school.
Vlastne zmyslom toho bolo, že aby jeden
The point of the workshop was that the creatures that everyone created were given names in all participants' languages.